And welcome into the weekend's, to the Friday take. I'm already messed up here on a Friday, but I'll get the right show here. Devin Albertson with Luke Sanders right now, as this will be our last show of the semester, as we won't have a board operator. We'll have a board next week, so this will be our last show for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy it. Luke and I are both also seniors with one semester left, bearing how things go this semester and next semester.
Yeah, we might have 2 or 3 of those.
So that's what we have for you guys today. Of course, we're going to start today with a little bit of Northwest sports here. Of course, the women and men both played at Missouri Western on Wednesday. The women lost. The men won by 14. Luke, you went to the games. Just kind of what was the overall thing you got from down there in St. Joe?
Yeah, I think that the girls, they started really slow. They were down, I think, 15 within like 6 minutes or something like that. They were just outmatched athletically, I think, for the most part. They played a lot better in the second half. Their effort wasn't very good in the first half either. They gave up a lot of offensive rebounds, which is something that you can't do when you're playing a team that's athletically superior to you. You have to be the one that's giving all the effort. But I think they're just a young team still, trying to figure out who they are, so give them a little time. The guys actually, I don't think, played very well, which is a testament to how good the guys are.
Played bad, won by 14.
They won by 14. And Mo West played, out of their mind. They just made shots that were just stupid.
Yeah, I saw them earlier this year because I went to Northwest versus Northern State when they had the Hilliard Classic. And then right after that was Upper Iowa versus Missouri Western. Missouri Western actually beat Upper Iowa. It made no sense at all. You look at the two teams, Mo West played really well. I think they can play up to competition every once in a while. They can just get up for big games. I mean, they shot 45% from the field. Missouri Western did. So they played with Northwest for most of the game. Just the Bearcats, when you have Justin Pitts in your team, just kind of late, you're going to make the plays.
That was one thing I think the Mo West did a great job of, is defending Justin Pitts. He ended up with probably 25.
24 and 4 assists.
But I think he was held to 15 until 6 or 7 minutes left. And then he just made shots that you can't defend.
Yeah, it's not really fair.
You can't get out that far, or else he's just gonna blow by you. It's impossible.
Yeah, he went 7 of 16 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 8 of 10 from the free throw line. So he played really well. Chris Ibu-Endow, he had a double-double, 15 points, 11 rebounds.
He hit a jab step 3. It's dirty.
Yeah, he's really, really he's really progressed this year on offense.
Yes.
His outside shot looks a lot better this year, and of course, him going to the lane is always dangerous because how athletic he is at 6'6", just 6'6", 6'7", just not quite fair for other D2 opponents to try to guard that. And of course, every once in a while, go up and just jam on people because he can.
He did dunk,
so that's nice.
He thought some guy was gonna go up with him, so he didn't do anything cool. But the guy didn't even go up, so
he's like, nah.
But he still dunked it. So
yeah, that's cool. Joey Wittis, he had 11 points as well, 4 rebounds. Doherty had 7 points.
What was our 3-point percentage for the game?
9 of 24, so 37.5%.
We didn't shoot very well.
That's probably one of the few games this year they haven't shot great. And that's 5 of 14 in the second half, which is 35%. They went 4 of 10 in the first half, so
yeah,
they were right there. So not a great shooting performance for Northwest, but the defense held Missouri Western to 60 points. Northwest advanced to 9-0 on the season. And, of course, if you look at the schedule over winter break for the men, Sunday they're playing in Warrensburg in Central Missouri. So that's an interesting time for that game. Since finals week is a lot this week, they want to do it on a Sunday instead of a Saturday for that game, apparently. Not sure. Usually the games are on Saturday.
Yeah. UCM's finals were this week, so that's probably...
Yeah, so both teams have their... Okay, that makes sense, I guess. So Sunday in Warrensburg, 3:30 for the men, 1:30 for the women. The men, they're going to have a one-game over in Owensboro, Kentucky versus Lincoln Memorial, number 14 in the nation, on December 19th, 6 p.m. That should be a fun game to see them. Last year, Northwest played them in the semifinals, the Rail Splitters.
Yeah, I imagine that's going to be a really hard game to go win on the road.
Yeah, because that's going to be a hostile environment versus a team you just beat in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. They like to get up and down the court. Super athletic, as we kind of saw last year.
That one kid's not there, is he?
I don't know. I haven't seen their I haven't really looked into the roster because
I think he was a senior.
So
I mean, he bounced around so much.
Yeah, so that's what they have. Remember what his name was?
I would if I saw it, but not off the top of my head. No.
Okay.
Look at the picture, dude. I mean, I figured you'll remember what he looked like.
Maybe I can't really. Is it Terry? No.
I think he was a senior.
Emmanuel Terry. I don't know.
But I think they got a new transfer.
Of course they did. I mean, it's just what they do. So yeah, they're going to be good again this year. They already good. They're undefeated, I believe. right now, and 8-0 on the year, yes. And they also played Butler in an exhibition game and lost by 7 in Indianapolis.
But Butler doesn't score on anybody, so it doesn't count.
86-79, so that's what they did there.
They put up 7. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh. So it should be interesting there. They've also put up 100 points 3 of their last 4 games. 106, 91, 103, 108. So they can score some points at Lincoln Memorial, but also they could do last year. They didn't score very much versus Northwest. So we'll see if Northwest will just take the air out of the basketball like they did last year against them and win that game. So last year Northwest played them in the semifinals and beat them 79-67. So
yeah, it's a lot harder to take the air out of the ball on the road.
Yeah, that's also extremely true. So, yeah, so that team can score a lot of points. That should be fun to look forward to. It's a nice matchup. Just on non-conference over the winter break. Like, hey, we're just gonna play a really good team, and
we're gonna have to pay to watch that, aren't we?
I don't know
if you want to watch it.
If it's in Lincoln Memorial, I don't think MIAA has anything to do with it.
Oh,
ooh,
it's ideal.
Yeah, because it's like a 12-hour drive, and I'm not making that drive.
No.
That's a no-brainer.
I can't afford to make that drive.
And then Northwest will have a home game on December 30th versus Simpson College. So we'll sacrifice them for a little bit for that game. I'll probably go to it. We will not be broadcasting for X106, though, because of technical difficulties over the break. We won't be able to do that. But we'll be able to get a few Twitter updates and stuff like that throughout that game. I'm sure the Missourian will as well. And then they come back after New Year's, and then on the 4th and the 6th, they go to Joplin and to Pittsburgh, take on Missouri Southern and Pittsburgh State. And then back home that first week, we're back from classes, take on UCM and Southwest Baptist. So that's what they have coming up next few games for Northwest. And, of course, all those games for conference will be the women as well. And the women, they have to go to Quincy over break. Yeah, they go to Quincy and McKendree on the 16th and the 18th. So they have a couple of road games, too, which you probably should be able to watch because it's not MIAA games. So,
yeah, because the MIAA sucks. You didn't hear it here.
Yeah, I can't go into that. I've already been yelled at for criticizing that before. But yeah, so
I am not affiliated with anybody, so I can say anything.
Yeah. Well, technically, I'm okay saying it, but I'm tired to get yelled at for it. So, yeah, so those games are on the road. Should be able to watch them if you want to cheer on the Bearcats from your living room. So Quincy and McKendree from the 16th and the 18th, see how they do over winter break, see if they can get a couple of wins under their belt going back into conference play and trying to get some momentum back because Sunday they're playing the number 10 team in the nation in Central Missouri. So that's what they have. So we're gonna take a little side path now into college football bowl season, preferably the playoff here. That's kind of what everybody wants to talk about. First of all, do you agree with the Final Four?
Yeah. If you're an Ohio State fan, you can't be mad. You lost to Iowa by 31.
That's kind of like a thing. Like you can't get over that.
I don't really think that there was 4 teams that really had a tournament, the Final Four resume. Like I just don't think.
Yeah, I don't think Alabama did really either. They just didn't have any bad losses, and Ohio State did.
Ohio State had way better wins than Alabama, but you lost to Iowa by 31, so you have no beef.
Yeah, there's just nothing you can like. Well,
I think the team with the most beef is USC, who was 8th. Like,
I don't know why they were 8th. That made no sense.
Like I don't think they should have been in, but they should have been like 6.
Yeah,
or 5. Like they should have been right there with Ohio State because they don't really have as bad a loss as Ohio State. Like
I mean, they got blown out by Notre Dame on the road, but Notre Dame was ranked, and Iowa was 7-5.
Yeah, Iowa's bad.
Like that's just not even. And like they played 11 straight games against no FCS schools. Like their worst game non-conference was Western Michigan, who went undefeated last year.
Yeah,
in the first game of the year. So that's not bad. They scheduled Texas, Notre Dame, and played 9 conference games. That's a difficult schedule. Their other loss was at Pullman, Washington on a Friday night by 3.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, that's a decent resume for USC. I just think everybody devalues the Pac-12 a little bit, so they're like they have 2 wins over Stanford. So Stanford looks worse now. It's like no, Stanford just lost to USC twice. They're still a pretty good team.
Yeah.
So I don't know. USC did get jive going 8th. So, but they'll be able to get the revenge. They play number 5 Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Day. So,
yeah,
not New Year's Day. It's actually the 29th. So it's not even a New Year's Bowl for that one. But 8 versus 5 on the 29th.
It technically is.
Like, yeah, technically, but
why is it so early? That's
I don't know. But Ohio State's a touchdown favorite in it.
Yeah, I see that.
So that's in Arlington, Texas.
It depends on which. Like Ohio State's just so hard because
which JT Barrett's going to show up.
Yeah, which
like you saw in the Big Ten championship game, you didn't know which Barrett was going to show up drive to drive.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm giving him the Big Ten championship game because
Wisconsin
he literally had knee surgery.
That's true.
On the Sunday before the game.
That's fair. And also, Ohio State had a huge advantage of that game because when they're playing on that type of field, you'd be a little bit faster. And Wisconsin does not want to play fast.
Nope.
Nope, that's not ideal for Wisconsin.
They want to play as slow as possible.
Wisconsin wants to play it like Soldier Field. And just,
dude, I mean, like, it's kind of like an SEC thing. Like, I just don't understand how you cannot recruit a quarterback. Like, I don't get it. Like, Alabama, like, Jalen Hurts, not great.
I think they have a guy who's behind him who's a better passer.
Alabama?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
redshirted
they've always had, like, very average to below average quarterbacks, and I don't understand it. I'm like, you are literally elite at every other position, except for you cannot find a quarterback.
They had A.J. McCarron.
That's their best quarterback. Like, A.J. McCarron's a very good college quarterback, don't get me wrong. But outside of that, you have years of Jake Coker, Jalen Hurts, who was the McElroy?
Yeah, Sims.
Yeah, like
they had this guy. I can't say his last name. I'm just going to show you here, but he's from Hawaii.
Oh,
and apparently he ripped up the spring game, like he was destroying the ones of Alabama. So
yeah, he broke Marcus Mariota's record for touchdown passes in Hawaii.
Yeah, so I'm sure next year he might have changed. Like, hey, Jalen, I can throw the ball and you can't. But we'll see what happens there. I mean, Jalen Hurts.
I could see Jalen Hurts being moved to like running back or receiver.
Because he is super athletic.
He's pretty much a glorified running back right now, if we're going to be honest.
So we'll see what happens there. How do you think they do versus Clemson in the Sugar Bowl?
It depends on how healthy they get at linebacker. I don't think that Alabama's like in Alabama. Like, I don't think that they're that good. I watched them play. Like,
they're not the same team they've been the last couple of years.
No. But if they get healthy at linebacker again, Clemson will have a difficulty running the ball.
I mean, they kind of have the Northwest thing where, you know what, they're not as good, but they're not as good is still better than most.
Yeah.
So they're going to be right there, and they have the talent if they just get healthy.
I think it's going to really rely on Kelly Bryant and how he throws the football. I don't know if I trust him because he hasn't really done it that well this year. Like, he hasn't been bad, but he hasn't really been great either. So he's pretty much just going to have to pull Deshaun Watson and play average the whole year and then just go absolutely nuts against Alabama.
Yeah, it's going to help even just both these teams get healthy, have a month off pretty much just to get healthy and get ready for that. So you see these teams near their best in that one. Then, of course, the other game, number 3, Georgia versus number 2, Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl. Kind of weird not seeing a Pac-12 team in the Rose Bowl, but it's the way the playoff worked this year. What do you think about this game? Baker Mayfield versus the town of Georgia.
I think that Baker Mayfield is going to absolutely tear them apart.
Ooh.
Like, I think Georgia will score a lot on Oklahoma, too. They'll run the ball all over them, don't get me wrong. But I always bet on the best quarterback, and it usually, I mean, like, outside of Alabama beating them, it usually works.
Yeah, and of course you have Fromm versus Mayfield. Pretty obvious the advantage goes to Oklahoma there.
Yeah.
Like, pretty obvious.
I think Oklahoma's defense is better than people give them credit for, and they especially play better in big games. Like,
I'll give that, yeah.
They gave up a lot of points to
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Oklahoma State, who has one of the best offenses in the country. And then they gave up a lot of points to, I think it was West Virginia.
31, yeah.
Yeah. But they played TCU, gave up 17. TCU scored on everybody else.
They only gave up 20 the first time TCU, so.
Yeah, 17 and 20. And then they played Ohio State, who, like, you don't know what you're getting, but I think Ohio State scored
16.
Yeah, I was going to say 17, so, yeah.
They also gave up 41 to Baylor.
I know.
35
like,
to
they
K-State.
played down to their competition. That's always been a knock on Oklahoma.
They also gave up 3 points to Kansas. That's pretty much unacceptable. I'm kidding.
Oh, that's fair.
They didn't cover versus Kansas. I'm kidding. They won by 38, the 38.5 point spread, so they were pretty close.
That's because they took their starters out after they were up by 30.
Mayfield didn't want to come out, though.
Mayfield did not. I don't blame him, dude.
Yeah, that was a whole thing with that, but it's also Kansas. You can't talk trash. You've won like 3 games the last 3 years.
Yeah, if you're Kansas, how stupid do you have to be? Like, just shake the dude's hand.
Let's just make Mayfield angry. Like, no.
It's a terrible self-destructive plan. And then the Georgia
bold strategy.
The Georgia fan that got his number, and then all the people texted him. I'm like, you know that this dude plays better angry. Like, I don't understand.
They're trying to get under his skin.
I don't think it worked.
I don't think it's going to work either. Actually, I think I like Georgia in this game. I know it'd be weird. I just think Georgia's more talented everywhere but quarterback.
I don't think that that's weird. I think that, like, I can see why you would pick them. I just always go quarterback when I'm in doubt, and I think that they're very close.
I think they are very close. I think both these games would be good. I think Clemson's going to upend Alabama, but it should be a really physical game low scoring. Should be fun to see how that works out back and forth between Dabo and Nick Saban. That should just be a fun game for the third year in a row. So we'll see. I think Clemson and Alabama match up a lot better than what Clemson and Ohio State would have been.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So
I don't know, though, because Ohio State also got embarrassed by them last year, so that would have factored. Like, I think they would have played better. I think Clemson still would have won by a touchdown or two, probably. But
this will also be the third straight year the Big Ten does not score in the playoff.
It's fair. They're bad.
So there's that. Other kind of big bowl games, Notre Dame versus LSU in the Citrus Bowl, UCF versus Auburn, and Coach Frost is still coaching that game for UCF.
Go Golden Knights.
Just like go Big Red, right?
Yeah, but I want him to, like, I feel bad for him leaving those kids, so I want them to win that game.
It's going to be really tough versus Auburn.
Fair, dude.
Whose 3 losses have come against 3 playoff teams.
Yep. It's not ideal.
So that's what's going to go on there. It should be a fun Peach Bowl, though, 11:30 on New Year's Day. So
Wait. No, 2 of their 3 losses.
No, all 3. No, never mind. Who's the other loss? Never mind. They played 3 playoff teams. They went 1 and 2. They went 2 and 2. Yeah. That loss was LSU.
Yeah.
Which was weird. The other game.
That was really early, though.
Yeah. And they kind of overlooked them because, like, LSU lost to Troy. We're good here. And they lost. Michigan, South Carolina is also a New Year's Day Bowl. It's Outback. So it's one of the smaller ones, but they play. And we'll see, Washington, Penn State are playing Wisconsin, Miami in the Orange Bowl. Fiesta Bowl is Penn State, Washington. So a lot of good games there. You want to see some offense on the 30th, Iowa State versus Memphis. That's going to be
What bowl game is the
Louisville, Mississippi State.
Oh, too soon.
Is it, though?
No, they deserve a lot of crap. They suck.
Washington State versus Michigan State. Stanford, TCU. That's kind of an interesting game. VTech versus Oklahoma State. So, yeah, Texas, Missouri. Missouri has a chance for an 8-win season, which makes no sense. The most boring bowl, the Pinstripe Bowl, Iowa versus Boston College.
Honestly, if you're a Mizzou fan right now, you are rooting for Texas.
Yeah, but if Drew Lock plays really well and they still lose, it doesn't matter.
You're rooting for like a 4 interception.
Drew Lock to just play awful. Like, we want you to just tank this game.
Maybe like a rolled ankle, something that doesn't take a long time to recover from, but enough to scare. Not a rolled ankle. I guess it would have to be legitimate to scare scouts, but you don't want that.
Yeah, so
you just want a terrible game.
I just hope he stays back. I'm just what I'm hoping for right now. It's not looking great.
The offensive coordinator is literally not going to play him. He's like, no, you don't get to.
Then he's going to leave because he's mad.
Okay, only hand the ball off the entire game.
Boise State versus Oregon in an early bowl. That should be halfway interesting. See if who Oregon has to coach the game. It's actually the first day of the bowls. That's nice. Something to kick off the season with. It's not like Marshall, Colorado State. Also, shout out to UAB for making the bowl game. My first year from being self-shut down for other reasons that weren't really from the football team.
Yeah. Wasn't it just money, financial reasons?
Yeah, some Alabama politics, really. Some guys who are from like University of Alabama pretty much went to the back way and shut down UAB's football program. You'll talk to Stephen Chappell. I don't even know all the stuff, and he give like a history lesson over, and he gets really angry. So we'll just say hashtag fire Ray Watson, be done with it. So, and they play Ohio in the Bahamas Bowl, so that's what they have there.
Dude, that would be cool. You go to
Make a
Bahamas
bowl.
for a bowl game.
First year back, have 8-4 season.
I cannot believe. Like, I know that everybody weighs the bowl games like heavily, but like outside of like the top 6, I don't. Like, those kids are going to the Bahamas for 2 weeks.
They're gonna be really focused on football.
Imagine how much football you're gonna think about while you're in the Bahamas. And you know that the coaches want to reward them for like having a good season, especially like somebody like UAB that's not supposed to be there. So like if UAB goes out and loses by 30, it's probably not because they're 30 points worse than Ohio. It's probably because they were in the Bahamas for 2 weeks and just partied hard.
Well, you don't have to worry about partying hard in the Idaho Potato Bowl between Central Michigan and Wyoming.
Dude, Wyoming probably knows how to party hard in Idaho. Like, that's all they know.
That's fair.
Wyoming's going to be overwhelmed by the amount of people in Idaho.
Fresno State playing Houston and Hawaii. Like that game, those two teams could be very distracted.
I mean, you're in Hawaii.
So yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah, so that's what's kind of going on there. Some interesting matchups. You can watch Josh Rosen play versus K-State in the Cactus Bowl. See how that goes. Of course, Wyoming also has Josh Allen, so you can watch that game.
Some of the names, I do want to watch Josh Allen because the only game I watched him was against Iowa, and his offensive line was so overmatched that he didn't even have a chance.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard for most of the year. Like, they're just a bad team around him. They went 7-5, but like, just kind of like they played Oregon. They got rolled out. They got rolled because Oregon's a lot better. So it's kind of hard to see.
I just don't get like. Obviously, he's good. Like, the scouts say he's good. So, I haven't watched him play, but they think he's really good. How does he end up at Wyoming? Like, if he's going to be a top 3 pick in the draft.
That's a very interesting there. Like, how that happens. Like, how does Carson Wentz wind up at North Dakota State?
Yeah.
Like, how does that happen? How does Joe Flacco end up at Delaware?
Well, he's not good.
That was a little harsh.
Because he's not elite.
How did Matt Ryan end up at Boston College?
Because he's not elite. Okay, time out. That's a different scenario. Look at Matt Ryan and what tells you he's going to be an athlete. Absolutely
everything.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That dude looks like me.
Joe Flacco is like a prototypical NFL quarterback. He ended up at Delaware.
Joe Flacco is a better example. Matt Ryan is like 6'1", 160 pounds.
I mean, tell me he's a Pro Bowl quarterback right there. NFL, Super Bowl, MVP. Those are different, like not Super Bowl MVP, like Super Bowl / then like MVP.
Okay, I was like
he didn't win the Super Bowl
MVP.
He would have, but
it was close.
He may or may not have choked.
Actually, I'm 99% sure Julio would have won the Super Bowl MVP.
He might have, yes. That's because Julio's catch in that final drive was.
Woo.
That was insane. That's like one of the most forgotten catches in Super Bowl because like they lost the game. And Edelman.
I will not forget.
And then Edelman after that was like, "Hey, watch this."
Yeah, but Julio's was much more skill.
Yes, so much more skill. It's almost like the David Tyrese was complete luck, but Manningham down the sideline was skill for the Giants.
I wouldn't say Tyrese isn't as much luck as Julian Edelman's.
No, Julian Edelman was insane. Like, how does that happen?
I mean, there's still skill involved. Don't get me wrong. Like, most people don't make that catch, but
and then
a lot of things have to happen.
Even the New England-Seattle game when they made that catch to get him down inside the 10-yard line, that was a huge. I can't remember who made the catch now, but it was some guy who no one has ever heard of.
Oh, it's the rugby dude.
Was it Richardson? No, who was? I can't remember who made the catch now for Seattle, but he had like 3 catches all year long, and he makes that big catch in the Super Bowl.
That's the freaking Patriots for you.
For Seattle, though. No, Seattle made the catch.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. That was Richardson.
Yeah. And then they didn't get the ball to Marshawn Lynch, and they lost Super Bowl. And all that stuff happens. So it gets completely forgotten after not running the ball, but it's like, yeah, they got it down to because of that play, and he almost scored. So that was insane. So a lot of catches get forgotten due to plays that happen right afterwards. So we're going to take a break when we come back, talk about the NFL playoff picture and what's going to be going on just throughout, I don't even know, just NFL weird. We got 4 weeks left. The Saints and Atlanta both have 3 games left after last night's game. Falcons won 20-17. We'll take a quick break and be back with more here on Friday Take. And welcome back into Friday Take. I'm Devin Albertson, joined by Luke Sanders, who's going to the NFL now and looking at the playoff picture. And I know we went through a few games over break, Luke. Some of the bigger games that are happening this weekend, of course, Chiefs-Raiders, noon on CBS. Going through the schedule here real quick again. Real quick, Vikings-Panthers, Redskins-Chargers, Eagles-Rams, Seahawks, Jaguars, Ravens-Steelers. A pretty good weekend in the NFL, all things considering. Monday Night Football is New England at Miami, so there's that. But everything else looks decently well.
Jay Cutler gets another primetime game.
Let's go.
What are we doing with our lives, people?
New England is a 11-point road favorite.
Oh, I might pick them to cover too.
It's really hard not to.
Oh my!
Like, I'm starting to I hate big spreads in the NFL because I always fall for the other team, and they always was 15, and it's like, why do I do this to myself? But I'm an idiot, so that's why I do it to myself. That is, I think, the biggest point spread for the weekend, and it's by a road team. So there's that. A lot of close spreads. Of course, the Chiefs are a 4-point favorite versus the Raiders at home. Of course, no Marcus Peters. I think no Amari Cooper for Oakland. I think he's still
that's helpful.
Concussion / ankle. He has a couple things wrong with his body, so he might not play. So only Crabtree will get a burn on the Chiefs and other receivers that we've never heard of.
Roberts will play. He'll probably go for 150 yards again like he did last time because Philip Gaines will be covering him.
Oh, man, Philip Gaines. Cordell Patterson will go off.
Except for, Philip Gaines won't be covering Roberts because he'll be the 2 now. So,
Patterson. Here we go.
Patterson will still be on the outside, though. So, I guess it will be Gaines getting burned by Roberts.
It doesn't really matter. I mean,
whoever's Gaines is on is going to get burned.
I mean, Cook will have a decent game, probably, at a tight end position. I mean, they probably put EJ Manuel receiver, and he'd burn Philip Gaines. So,
oh, that's a hot take.
Is it wrong? Have we seen any evidence that it wouldn't happen?
No,
because Gaines apparently didn't know what to.
But there's not very many EJ Manuels playing wide receiver either. Actually, you know what? We have seen evidence of what would happen. He'd be in the passing lane, and then he'd doink it off his helmet, and they would catch it for a touchdown.
It's happened before. That's what's going to happen. Chiefs, Raiders. The offense did play better last week, but the defense went back to their old ways. The Chiefs just can't figure out how to play offense and defense at the same time well. So that's just really frustrating. Good thing is the offense is playing a really bad Raiders defense as well. So the first game was, of course, 31-30. Oakland won at home on Thursday Night Football. I expect a lot of points here. Again, it's supposed to be like 55 on Sunday, too, so it should be nice. Decent weather.
That's good. Last year when I went to that game, it was like negative 42 degrees, and it was terrible.
Yeah, but that helps it for Derek Carr. He didn't play well under 40 degrees.
Yeah, it's fair, but it's not like we're going to cover anybody anyways. So.
We might. No, we won't.
Absolutely not.
I think Mitchell will get the start. Hopefully, you got Revis, Acker, Gaines, Nelson. It just doesn't sound good.
No, and Mitchell needs to play on the outside because they don't play him there enough, and it makes me very irritated.
Because he is their second best corner, like outside corner. I get that he's going to give up plays, but he also makes plays half the time, which is you can't say about the other corners.
No, Nelson never does anything.
And Gaines is never close enough to his guy to make a play, but he's close enough to make a tackle 10 yards on the field after he makes a catch.
And Nelson is a way better inside corner than Mitchell is, too.
Yes.
So, I don't get that. I am average fan.
Bob Sutton's a genius.
I see football. It's
every
obvious.
Analyst ever is like, Bob Sutton's a great defensive coordinator. I'm like, I'm just not seeing it.
It's like, it's like Tyronn Lue. Everyone realizes it in the NBA, but Tyronn Lue's not really good. LeBron's really good. Bob Sutton's had very talented defenses, and you can run
very skilled
basic defense, the most basic defense.
Hey, my guys are better than your guys. That's how we're going to stop you. It's not my scheme. It's my talent on the field.
Yes. You cannot run cover one robber with the corners that we have.
Why not?
Every play.
Why not? We saw what happens. Who was it?
Robbie Anderson. Well,
he's been playing well. The other guy is what makes you. Who was the other guy who burned us?
I don't know. Josh McCown threw for 300 yards.
We made him the offensive player of the week. So there's that. That's impressive. It's not ideal. If pretty much is what we're saying.
When they don't even have to run the ball against your terrible running defense, because they just throw it all over you.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal. With that, so I'm trying to remember who was the other receiver. Oh, Curse had 157 yards receiving.
I mean, Curse is good though. He hasn't played well this year.
157 yards receiving good.
Well, no.
Anderson had 107.
I mean, that's like Julio or Antonio Brown or anyone playing the Chiefs.
I mean, they still ran for 157 yards as a team.
Half of that was McCown. Old balls.
McCown had 19 yards.
That's it?
Yeah.
It seemed like he was running the ball
It did seem like he was running the ball for a lot more than that. But it's also McCown, so when he rushes for 5 yards, everybody's like, how?
He rushed for 3 or 4 first downs, and you're like, how do you let a 38-year-old man
named McCown
run for a first down?
Yeah, so that's what he threw for 331 yards, a touchdown, QBR 92.7. So that's what he did versus the Chiefs defense, and he's Josh McCown, let alone Derek Carr, with the receiving offense he has. So we'll see what happens this week versus the Raiders.
Pit of misery, dilly.
dilly. I still think the Chiefs win this game. Maybe I'm delusional, but it's all right.
I think you're delusional.
Chiefs finished 9-7.
I think that's probably also delusional, but I hope you're right.
Because I just look at the Chiefs do mainly really well versus division. The one slip up was versus Oakland on Thursday Night Football in Oakland. And they come back, they win this game. They have the Chargers at home, which would be tough. Miami at home, and then at Denver. If they go into the Denver game 8-7, I like our chances. Just because I think we beat Denver. I don't think Denver's very good.
Denver's bad.
And Miami's also who knows who's going to be their quarterback. But also, I feel like this Chiefs team is the Chiefs team that's going to beat Oakland and San Diego and then get pummeled by Miami. It makes no sense. And then beat Denver and be in the playoffs. Because it's the Chiefs, and they don't do anything that makes sense. So, I'm just going for the most weird situation possible. So
the most weird situation possible is that we win out and then win in the playoffs.
Let's go. Who's your playoff teams?
I
can go through mine if you want to think about it for a second.
Yeah, you go through yours.
AFC, I got New England at 13-3.
Hot take. Oh.
How's that? Okay, I'm not sure. Pittsburgh at 12-4. I think they lose 2 of the last 4 games. I think they're overlooking Baltimore. They're going to lose New England, and they win the last 2. Jacksonville 11-5. KC 9-7. Tennessee and Baltimore both at 10-6. And the Chargers, the first team out at 9-7, just lose a tiebreaker to the Chiefs for the AFC West title.
Wait, you have Jacksonville at what?
11-5. Winning the division.
Oh.
Their schedule is decently well. I think they're going to lose this week to Seattle, but after that, they can win out. It's like San Francisco, Houston, and Tennessee at home. So okay. I like Jacksonville's schedule.
All right, I'm still taking Tennessee to win the division.
That's fair. You trust Mariota over
quarterback.
Yep.
I'm
trusting the defense of Jacksonville.
Pittsburgh winning the North, and I think they'll be the 1 seed. Not the North, the East. No, I said backwards. New England winning the East and being the 1 seed.
Okay.
Pittsburgh winning the North and being the 2 seed.
Okay.
Sorry. I think that San Diego's going to win our division.
It's impressive because they're Los Angeles now.
They're playing way better than anybody else in the division right now. Then I'll take Baltimore, and I think Kansas City will still sneak in there at 9-7.
Over Jacksonville. Okay.
Or no, 8-8. No, Jacksonville, I already said them, didn't I?
Oh, so you think Baltimore misses the playoff?
Yes.
Okay. I think Baltimore still makes the playoff.
I think they're going to lose to Pittsburgh this week. I don't think that they're going to. I think they'll finish 8-8, and I hope that we have some kind of tiebreaker over them. How about that?
Definitely possible. I'm looking at Baltimore's schedule. Of course, they have Pittsburgh this week, and then they also have Cleveland after that, Indianapolis, and Cincinnati.
That's not ideal.
That's not ideal.
I think they could lose 2 of those. They could lose to Cincinnati or
it's in Baltimore, and Indy's also in Baltimore on Thursday night.
Thursday night games are tough. They might overlook them looking forward to a Bengals matchup that they'll have to win to make the playoffs.
So yeah, a lot of interesting things could happen there. I still think they win 10-6. I think they're playing really well right now. Actually, Flacco's been playing better now that his back's healed up. He has been playing better. Still not good, but better. So that's what I have there.
That's just wishful thinking the Chiefs probably get in the playoffs still. So.
That's fair. Sorry. NFC, I have Philadelphia and Minnesota both at 13-3, with Philly having the tiebreakers at the 1 seed. The Rams at 12-4, the Saints at 11-5, Seattle at 11-5, Atlanta 10-6, and Green Bay 10-6 as well. But Atlanta has a tiebreaker head-to-head. Also, I was looking through some tiebreaker stuff. If Seattle loses just one more game, I believe that they fall to 10-6, and Green Bay wins out, Green Bay will have the tiebreaker, and they will be left out of the playoffs. Seattle would, because of the Week 1 matchup where Green Bay beat them. So,
wow.
That's just what I have. I think Seattle just wins enough games. I think they have to go at least 3-1 down the stretch to make the playoffs. So I think they do that.
So you have the Falcons getting in.
Yes.
At 10-6.
I like their schedule.
I do not like their schedule. How do you like their schedule?
I think it's
they play at Tampa Bay, at New Orleans.
Okay, Tampa Bay is a dumpster fire.
Okay, they still have to go on the road in the NFL.
Monday night game.
Matt Ryan's not great on the road. At New Orleans, I don't think they win that game.
I think they lose that game.
And then they play Carolina.
Yes,
who has a much more talented roster than Atlanta.
And I think they're going to beat Carolina because I think Cam Newton's.
Well, Cam Newton's not good.
Exactly.
But Matt Ryan's
and it's
not
also
great.
in Atlanta. They just beat the Saints in Atlanta. No, it's Thursday night, but they still just won. And I think
they did not play well. The Saints didn't play well either. Matt Ryan threw 3 interceptions.
And they still won. So I trust them. Give me the Falcons.
I think that they're going to lose to the Bucks.
I also said they made the playoffs. They beat Seattle like a week and a half ago. So I'm kind of 2 weeks ago. So I'm kind of holding with that. I'm holding with my guns on this one.
I think that they're going to lose to the Bucks because they're going to overlook them because they play the Saints next week.
I'd be so mad.
Sorry.
It's all right.
But then I have. Hold on. I have to look at this again. I have Philadelphia as well, and then Minnesota, New Orleans, Rams, chalk. I think that. Oh man, this is tough.
The Rams do have a game in Seattle.
I don't trust any of these teams. I'll take Seattle. I think that they'll get to 11-5.
Who's out? There's so many. There's so many decent teams you could take here. I mean,
you know who has the tiebreaker between?
Between who?
Never mind. The Packers play them, so I will take the Packers over the Panthers, both at 10-6.
Nice. I like it. I think the Panthers finished like 9-7, so they just missed the playoffs.
How do you have them? Oh, because you have them losing to the Falcons.
Yeah.
That game will be a huge playoff implication game.
Yes, it will. Also, the Panthers. They also have to play in Oakland, I believe, on the stretch.
No, they play Minnesota, Green Bay, both at home.
Okay.
Buccaneers at home, and then at Atlanta.
Okay, never mind. So it's not as bad as I thought it was.
I don't get how you see them losing 3 of those. I imagine they'll steal at least 2.
We'll just see what happens. That's what we have from our playoff teams.
I just have to hope that the 2 aren't the Green. I just want to see Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
That's true.
I'm biased towards that.
That's also I tried to get it to where using the playoffs. I just couldn't quite. I just think Atlanta's a little better.
I think Atlanta sucks, so
wow.
There's that.
You're harsh.
Matt Ryan's not good. Like, I hate quarterbacks that get praised when they're not great. It makes me so mad. Matt Ryan has Julio Jones.
So we might as well just bench him, right? I'm kidding. No, I'm twisting your words. No.
That's a different level.
Yeah, that's your Alex Smith hate level. But yeah.
No.
Anyways, yes.
Matt Ryan has shown that he can do something in the playoffs. Alex Smith does not.
Okay, that's a lie. Anyways, move on.
But anyways. He literally has played complete garbage this year. Matt Ryan has, but he throws the ball up to Sanu and Julio Jones sometimes, and they catch it.
Also, to remind you, last year they were 6-5. At this, now they're 7-5.
They looked like a different team last year, though.
But now, same trajectory as last year.
They did not win 3 in a row. They just lost to Minnesota like 2 weeks ago.
Well, it's gonna happen. Don't worry about it.
It's not. I'm not even worried about it because. Yeah. Matt Ryan will turn into his Matt Ryan self, and when they need a big drive, he'll throw the ball to the other team. Yay, dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly. Yeah, but I still trust Atlanta. I'm one of the few out there. So there's that. Also,
Matt Ryan is a glorified Andy Dalton.
Okay, Colin Cowherd.
He is. He's closer to them than anybody that's really good. He's much closer to Andy Dalton than he is to Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's a fact. Or to Tom Brady, or to any other elite quarterback.
I don't know. I just don't.
Okay, I'll give you this. He's probably not Andy Dalton.
He's much better than Andy Dalton.
He's probably like Matthew Stafford.
Like I think highly of Matthew Stafford, but yeah.
Matthew Stafford. Cause,
less talented, but more productive.
Yeah. Well, not more productive, because Matthew Stafford has way more.
Stafford also throw the ball for like 50 times a game because they have no running game, and Atlanta does.
Stafford also has literally no one on his team for 7 years.
Yeah, he had Calvin Johnson there for a little bit.
He had Calvin Johnson.
And Calvin retired.
But you can't. Calvin Johnson can't block people. Calvin Johnson can't run the ball. He might have been able to do that, actually, if they would have given him the ball.
Megatron, baby.
So I'll take that back.
But yeah, I think a 10-6 team gets left out in the NFC, though, which would be tough because I think there's a lot of good teams. Oh, I think the 10-6 teams in the NFC are better than the 10-6 teams that could finish in the AFC as well.
Oh,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like Tennessee, Baltimore, Jacksonville versus Atlanta, Seattle,
and
Green Bay, Carolina.
It's going to be like, so you have your playoff set.
Yes.
You obviously have looked at this a lot more than I have because you had like the records and everything. So
they had the playoff machine on ESPN. I used that.
In your AFC, you have Pittsburgh and New England with the byes, correct? Yep. And then you have Jacksonville at the 3.
Yep.
KC
playing Baltimore and Tennessee, going to Kansas City, which is an awful matchup for Kansas City.
Okay, so who do you have winning those 2? If you tell me you have Kansas City win a playoff game at this point,
I don't think they beat.
Biased.
I don't think they can beat. Like Tennessee's an awful matchup. It's kind of like Pittsburgh, where you have to stop the running game, and that's all Tennessee's going to do is run down your throat. I was at that game last year versus Tennessee. I mean, Chiefs lost that game.
Yeah.
Also Mariota has not been proving anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they also play a zone, so you can go ahead and chalk Tennessee up for a win because we cannot throw against the zone.
We'll see.
No, we can't. Unless you're playing the Jets, who have 2 rookie safeties, and they're like, I'm just not going to cover Tyreek Hill this play.
Tennessee secondary is not very good either. It's not great.
But they're way smarter.
Way smarter than the Jets.
We've literally put up more than 20 points on one team that runs predominantly zone this year, and that's the New York Jets.
Woo.
Yeah. Alex Smith, he's a decent quarterback against man. I'll give you that. He cannot read a zone to save his life. That's why if I were playing the Chiefs, we would never lose because I would run cover 2 and we would stay over the top. And Alex Smith would be like, I don't want to try to fit in that window or that window. That guy's kind of open, but that's really far. I'm going to throw it to the running back. 2 yards. Yeah. Go team. Anyways.
Man, I hope Casey makes a Super Bowl run just to shut you up about Alex Smith.
Oh, yeah, that would make me so mad. I'd be so heartbroken.
Oh, my God. I'm just tired of you bashing him.
It's not really a bash.
It is,
he's not
though.
the answer. He's not.
He's not the problem either.
He's not terrible. That's not the question for quarterbacks. This makes me so mad. The question is, are they not too bad for you to win a Super Bowl? That's not how this works.
I think he's good enough for this year. I'm still saying in the future go to Mahomes. It's not this year.
He's not good enough ever.
We're still in the playoff race.
He's bad. Trash can juice.
He's not trash can juice.
Okay, he's not. He's just average. He's just an average quarterback.
I also think Baltimore beat Jacksonville in the playoff game in Jacksonville because both the defenses are really good. And I think Flacco will make less mistakes than Bortles.
So you picked Tennessee, right?
I think so. In a close game.
Okay, so Tennessee versus
Pittsburgh. We saw how that happened. How that went down first time.
Yeah, that's not good.
And then Baltimore going to New England, which could be interesting. Because Baltimore plays them well, but I don't think they beat them.
Could we have any worse playoff matchups, please? Okay, so you got Pittsburgh, New England in the AFC Championship. Who you got?
New England. Because Mike Tomlin's going to get his just butt beat by coaching. He's not a good coach compared to...
He's not a good in-game coach.
Yeah.
All right, so then in the
I got Philly and Minnesota. Rams hosting Atlanta. I'll take the Rams.
Yes, 10 out of 10. Okay.
And then New Orleans hosting Seattle.
Ooh.
That's a good playoff matchup.
See, the NFC is going to be really entertaining.
I probably did the Saints at home, actually.
Yeah.
Because Seattle's secondary is gone.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And
even though Russell Wilson will make insane plays.
Yeah, but look what they did to Carson Wentz.
That is true.
Who's played
in
out
Seattle,
of his
though,
mind all year.
I just think the Saints would have the slight... it's going to be a really good game. I think the Saints just ever so slightly.
I would take the Seahawks, but that wouldn't be my matchup because I had Green Bay at 6, so I would have Green Bay...
versus the Rams.
That's entertaining, too. So then I would still have Seattle.
No, so I think Falcons and Rams would be a fun game. I think they could both
Seattle
score.
and New Orleans, then.
So,
except for I think New Orleans might finish with...
better record than the Rams?
No, they won't. Not if the Rams still win that division. Sure. So, yeah. So I have Seattle versus New Orleans, too. I will take Seattle in that game.
I think the Saints in the close one. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle won that. But
I also don't know my matchups in the AFC, but I had New England coming out. So
it's all that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see unless Tom Brady blows his knee out in the next 4 weeks.
I think that they would still go to the AFC Championship and maybe beat Pittsburgh.
I don't think that. Who's their backup quarterback right now?
Brian Hoyer. He's just good enough that the Patriots would still win games.
If that happens, I swear. I swear if that happens, the Chiefs better beat Tennessee and Jacksonville better beat Baltimore, because then you have Kansas City playing Brian Hoyer in the playoffs again, and that's like the dream.
Okay, I'm not going to lie to you, though. Kansas City is still the only team that I think can beat New England. Like
they match up well.
They have to play really well and stop being poopy at everything, but
it's a decent matchup for them, though.
It is. But if Brian Hoyer does not play Kansas City, they will at least go to the AFC Championship game.
That's fair. I don't know. Baltimore could give them
no.
Yeah.
No.
Baltimore always plays New England well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Always.
But
yes, always.
They won't happen. They always play him well.
I just want to see Jacksonville go to the Super Bowl. I'm kidding.
They always play him well enough to just barely lose. Except for the year that Joe Flacco played out of his mind and no one knows who Joe Flacco was.
Maybe that Flacco will come back.
It's the only reason that there's even a remote question that it was ever a question if Joe Flacco was elite.
Which the answer is no.
But is it?
Yes, it's no. The answer is no. NFC, so say your scenario, Rams and Seahawks both win. Seahawks at Philly.
I'll take Philly.
And then Rams at Minnesota. I think Minnesota. I think that defense is really good.
The defense is really good, but Case Keenum at some point has to return to being Case Keenum.
Are we sure?
I'll take the Rams if that's the matchup that I get.
Okay, then you have Eagles-Rams in Philly.
Yeah, I'll take Philly.
Then you have Philly versus New England again in the Super Bowl.
Chalk. I will take New England. I'm not betting against New England in a Super Bowl. But in my scenario, what I think will actually happen, and I didn't go through this, is I think that the matchup will be. Hold on, I have to go through this in my head because it's hard. I had Green Bay versus
the Rams.
Yeah, Green Bay would win that game for me.
Okay, so then you have Green Bay and Seattle. So you have Green Bay at Philly, Seattle at Minnesota. Those are fun matchups
Those
too.
are different. I'm gonna take Green Bay to beat Philly.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers.
This is providing that Aaron Rodgers. I guess if they go 4-0 in their last 4 games, Aaron Rodgers is probably healthy.
Yeah,
but this is providing that Aaron Rodgers is at.
You're not thinking Brad Headley to be. I'm kidding.
Aaron Rodgers level. No, I mean like I know Rodgers will be back, but this like he'll have to be playing at. Okay, so I'll take Aaron Rodgers to beat Philly, and I'll take
Seattle versus Minnesota.
Oh, that's tough. I'm gonna take Seattle. I'm still gonna go with quarterback.
I think the 2 wild cards. So
the
Seattle
2 wild cards are going all the way.
Seattle hosting Green Bay in the NFC Championship game.
Oh.
By the way, I'd take probably Minnesota over Seattle. So you'd have Green Bay at Minnesota with a healthy Aaron Rodgers playing against Minnesota who broke his collarbone.
That'd be ugly. Like Green Bay might win that game by ooh. But anyways, I'll take Seattle in that game. They just have.
So New England versus Seattle in the Super Bowl.
I'll take New England. I think New England's gonna win the Super Bowl. I hate it, but it's
not happening. I have no good reason to tell you why not.
As a sports,
I will take the field right now.
Well, I mean, like if I had to bet on one, I'd bet on the field. But
are you sure? She doesn't sound like it.
If I had to, yes, I'd bet on the field. But if I had to bet on one team, because football is so crazy, like. Okay, if Tom Brady blows his knee out and they make the Super Bowl, they're losing by 30 to whoever comes out of the NFC.
Yeah, the NFC is much better than the AFC.
Unless they play Green
Bay. I remember
Bay.
getting an argument earlier.
If they play Green Bay, though, that's a different scenario because Aaron Rodgers has carried a team to the playoffs.
That's true.
And then that's like a 30-30 game where anything could happen. Brian Hoyer is tearing apart Green Bay's secondary.
You said Brian Hoyer tearing up a secondary. I had to laugh.
I mean, like, I'm not going to lie. In a New England system, he's going to do decent.
That's fair. Totally forgot what I was going to say now.
Did you know that Tom Brady is leading the league in passing yards? Probably not as.
Yeah.
I don't know who's second. I don't think it's Matt Ryan or Drew Brees, so that probably doesn't affect anything. By 330 yards. He's a full game ahead of everybody.
Drew Brees. Ball by Matthew Stafford, Philip Rivers,
so it's
Kirk Cousins.
Closer then.
It's because Drew Brees played last night.
Yeah. So
and he's still 100 yards behind.
Yeah. So Tom Brady's basically a full game ahead of everybody. Like, that's not real life.
Also, Alex Smith is 8th, just so you know. Just FYI.
Yeah, well, when you got a guy that runs fast in the entire defense, you should probably be, like, top 5. If Tom Brady had Tyreek Hill right now, he'd be 700 yards ahead of everybody.
With the same yards per attempt as Drew Brees, more touchdowns, less interceptions, but whatever. No big deal.
Okay, you're comparing him to Drew Brees' like, worst statistical year in the last 10 years.
Drew Brees is playing well right now.
It's still his
He also has a running game.
Still his worst statistical year in like 10 years.
It happens. Well, he has a running game. He doesn't have to throw the ball 50 times.
I'm just saying that's
the
only time that Alex Smith has had
just saying. He's also beat Drew Brees in the playoff game, but that's no
I'm not going to lie to you, Devin. I would probably throw it for 150 yards in the NFL with Tyreek Hill on my team. Because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to snap the ball. I'm going to throw it as far as I can. And he's probably going to underthrow him. I'm not going to lie. Because I don't have that strong of an arm. But Tyreek Hill, you go up and make a play. I can at least look at the defense for 6 seconds before I throw the ball.
Yeah, you're going to be sacked by the Chiefs line if you say that for 6 seconds.
Okay.
Just so you know.
As long as I have the ball until I get rid of it, I can stare at one receiver. I promise you.
Okay. We're obviously, if you can't tell at home, we are obviously on 2 different sides of this Alex Smith thing. So there's that.
I mean, I'm sure that you would love a quarterback that can't read a defense and gets sacked all the time, which is partially bad offensive line play. It's also terrible pocket awareness.
His pocket awareness is not great. It's just not.
It's not even close to not great. It's bad.
It's not okay. It's not as bad as you say it is either. It's not as bad as you say it is.
It is literally one read and then find the nearest offensive line and put my helmet in his back. That is Alex Smith.
That's not true.
Okay, sometimes he runs, but the rest of the time,
70 yards.
I mean, the dude's fast.
He is fast.
Cam Newton's fast. Cam Newton's a terrible quarterback. Like, at throwing the football, if Cam Newton could not run the ball, we can all agree that Cam Newton would not be in the league anymore, right?
Probably
playing
not.
Quarterback.
Racist. I'm kidding.
Oh, my. Don't even start that.
I had to. You kind of set me up for that, so I had to.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
You took that to a whole nother level. I'm sitting here making fun of Alex Smith.
Racist.
Oh.
Whatever. Just in doubt. Just whatever in doubt. Just.
Okay. Yeah, but.
Sexist. His name is Alex, which is multi-gender, so you're being sexist.
I think we're getting into something we don't need to get into.
Yeah, we're gonna stop there.
Actually, it's not we're getting into. You're getting into. I had nothing to do with it.
That's fair.
For all the people out there, I'm actually innocent for once in my life on this topic.
So yeah, anything else with the NFL you want to talk about? How about the game versus?
No, who did you have win the Super Bowl?
I don't want to go chalk, which is New England. So I'm gonna go Minnesota. They win their own Super Bowl in their home field. It's never happened before.
Listen to me.
But Minnesota in their home field in the Super Bowl versus New England, I'll take Minnesota to win a close game.
Listen to me.
They don't have Blair Walsh either, so they can win by a field goal.
You are telling me that Minnesota, with either Case Keenum or Teddy Bridgewater, is going to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. That's what you're telling me. I just want you to clarify that this is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is New England always plays in close games in Super Bowls, and Minnesota playing at home in Super Bowl will give them the boost they need for Case Keenum to be comfortable enough to win that game.
So you're telling me that Case
24-23 game-winning field goal.
All right. Guys,
if this happens,
mark it on record.
If this happens, I'm going to Vegas and be like, hey, I have video of me calling this.
Devin is telling you that Case Keenum is going to beat Tom Brady.
I'm not trusting. I'm trusting that defense and the coaching staff enough to get to the Super Bowl, and that home field advantage will be able to be enough to beat New England in a close game because New England always plays close.
But what you're
games.
telling me is that Case Keenum is going to beat Tom Brady, regardless of how you.
In the elementary sense of the thing, yes.
Oh, wow. Hot take alert.
I think Minnesota's really good, so I'm trusting them. I've been doubting them. I'm done doubting them. So
I'm not doubting Minnesota's a really good football team. I'm doubting them as when you get to the playoffs, I look at two things. One, how do you stop the run? And two, who's your quarterback? Why do you think I'm so low on Kansas City in the playoffs?
Because
we
they
do
have
neither of those things.
Okay. We do half of those. We do a quarter of that.
Yeah, we have half a quarterback.
Three-quarter. We got three-quarters of a quarterback, and then this is a half of a.
Okay, so like
not even like no defense, like less than no defense. Like
in the playoffs against Kansas, in the AFC playoffs, every team that you play against stops the run. Every team, outside of maybe New England,
Jacksonville does
they're
not.
Better.
I tell you, that Jacksonville does not stop the run.
You can't throw the ball on them though, like you can't.
Well, that's not what you said though.
Well, okay, you can't just go straight off of it.
I'm just saying, you said they don't.
But I'm not picking Jacksonville in the playoffs against anybody because they have Blake Bortles. So it doesn't matter. The reason that Jacksonville really gives up so many running yards is that teams run the ball so many times because they know they can't throw the football.
Also, New England Rams have bottom 10 rush defense. Just saying.
Yeah, but they also have good quarterbacks. And I didn't pick the Rams against who? Green Bay. Because Green Bay has 1.5 quarterbacks.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to poke holes in your argument. So
You're not poking holes in my argument
I will
because
poke holes.
they both fit the. They have Tom Brady for one thing. New England has Tom Brady.
He's 40.
I don't care if he's 64. Tom Brady, like there was the argument that
they also have the worst rush defense per attempt. Just saying.
Where's Jacksonville on that list?
Bottom 5.
Oh, really?
The bottom 5 in rushing yards per attempt is Jacksonville, New Orleans, Rams, Chargers, Patriots. It's weird.
I knew the Chargers were bad at that. I did not realize that those other teams were that bad.
Top 5 teams: number 1, Cleveland, Denver, Minnesota, Tennessee, Philly.
Are you sure this isn't backwards?
I'm sure. I'm clicked on defense too.
Okay. Anyways.
Yeah.
You still didn't poke any holes in my argument.
I did.
I'm not picking Jacksonville for anything. They have no run defense, no quarterback. I'm picking New England because they have Tom Brady. And I'm picking... Who was the other one? I didn't even pick the Rams. I picked the Packers. Like, I don't understand how you're poking holes in my argument.
Packers defense isn't great either. They have Aaron Rodgers, though.
I see. It was great. You can win a playoff game 31-30.
Yeah. Not going to disagree.
Especially when you're playing the Rams.
Rams defense is okay.
You just told me they're in the... You're impossible.
They do the same thing that Jacksonville does. They're good versus the pass.
Yeah, well, it's Aaron Rodgers, so I don't care how good you are against the pass.
Until the Minnesota, which is why Minnesota will beat Green Bay in a playoff game. Minnesota's defense is so good, like passing and rushing. So
Aaron Rodgers will destroy them.
No, we've seen this in the past. He will not destroy them. We've seen this.
He's mad. They broke his collarbone.
I'm just saying we've seen this in the past. Like, Zimmer's defense can slow down, almost shut down Aaron Rodgers. We've seen it in the past. He's with less talented defenses.
I've also seen him torch him in the past. You can't just take like 3 examples and be like, oh.
When's the last time Aaron Rodgers torched Minnesota?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Here, hold on. I'm
trying to get to it too. I'm trying to find it from like last year, the 2 games they played versus Aaron Rodgers. So the first one was 17-14. Rodgers threw for, this is really on the spot, 213 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. QBR of 45. That's the first game last year. The second game, it was 38-25. So I'm guessing Rodgers played well in that one. In Green Bay. Also, this game would be in Minnesota. He played really well that game. I don't want to say the stats.
How well?
347 yards and 4 touchdowns in Green Bay. This playoff game would be in Minnesota, so it's mute.
Yeah, you're right. Mike Zimmer defense never gives up yards to Aaron Rodgers. Woo.
In Minnesota.
So you're taking an example from 2 games is what you're telling me. And you're telling me that it's fact.
I just like Minnesota's defense versus Aaron Rodgers. So there's that.
Even though you have 1 game to back this off of. 2 games to back this off of.
It happens.
And he threw for 247 yards, a touchdown, and interception, which is not a bad statistical game. That's a little, yeah, it's kind of bad.
That's Alex Smith-esque versus Minnesota.
Yes.
So, yeah. All in all, Minnesota's winning the Super Bowl. And the main reason,
the hottest it takes.
The main reason is I just don't want to go chalk. Is that fair? I'm trying to think outside the box. And if I'm right, I'll feel like a genius.
You can be wrong outside the box all you want. I'm sticking inside the box. Except for I have Green Bay going to the Super Bowl. That's not chalk.
That's fair.
I had Green Bay and Seattle. Both.
Also, I have Green Bay missing the playoffs. So.
Yeah, that kind of puts some holes in my argument. I really do think it's very possible that Green Bay misses the playoffs, but I just want him in there.
I want to see him in there too. I just don't see how it happens.
It's called Atlanta loses 1 game. Hot take.
that was scorching hot, but yeah.
No.
Atlanta needs to lose 2 games.
No, they don't.
They're 8-5.
Seattle, no. Atlanta has to lose 1, and Carolina has to lose 2 because they'll play Green Bay.
Well, I think Atlanta beats them head-to-head again, and then it's over.
Atlanta can be 11-5. That doesn't affect the Green Bay thing. Seattle has to go 10-6, and Green Bay has to beat Carolina.
Yeah.
Well, Green Bay has to win out either way, so they have to just beat everybody.
So you're just banking on
Aaron Rodgers being better than everybody else, yes.
No, you're banking on Seattle going 2-2 down the stretch.
Yes.
That's a lot to ask for.
I also think that Atlanta could easily be 9-7. Do they have the tiebreaker over Green Bay? Atlanta?
Yes, they beat them head-to-head. They've crushed them head-to-head.
Did they play him with Aaron or did they play him
with Aaron?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It's because Atlanta matches up really well with Green Bay because they're so fast on the outside, and Green Bay's defense is not.
Oh, Green Bay's very slow.
It was 34-23.
Yeah. And Atlanta's defense is fast, and Aaron Rodgers' best receiver is not fast. He's just
Rodgers still threw for 343 yards and 2 touchdowns. A pick, but
not bad.
Matt Ryan was efficient. 252 and a touchdown. Just the rest of how did Atlanta score?
Devontae Freeman.
He had 2 touchdowns. And they had a defensive touchdown as well on the pick 6. So, yeah.
All right. So Devin's got Case Keenum win the Super Bowl. He's got that's the hottest take I've got from him today, but
it's not even that hot. I mean, Minnesota's a really good team. They've beaten a lot of good teams
Devin,
this year.
You still have Case Keenum winning the Super Bowl. That's a hot take. I don't care what you say.
Let's see. Vikings.
When was the last time a Case Keenum level quarterback won the Super Bowl? Trent Dilfer?
That's a little harsh.
What do you mean that's a little harsh? He's a career Trent Dilfer. Don't give me that he's not.
He's playing better this year than Trent Dilfer ever played in his career, so we'll just get that out of the way.
That's fair, but he's playing.
I mean, they did beat up on the Rams, they beat the Falcons by 5 in Atlanta.
How many throwing yards does he have?
1 second. They also beat the Packers. I think it might have been before or after. That was during Aaron Rodgers' injury, sorry.
Yeah, that was the game he got hurt in the first half.
Beat the Saints.
And Brett Hundley came in and looked like terrible. So
let me look here. Stats. Thrown for 2,700 yards. 240 yards per game. 16 touchdowns, 5 picks.
I'm pretty sure that Trent Dilfer probably put up numbers like that.
win.
Okay, but anyways, last point. Anybody between there been on the same level as Case Keenum?
Well, for the season, I know he played really well in the playoffs. Would be Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's way better than Case Keenum, though.
Is he?
Yes. There's a reason that Case Keenum was a third-string quarterback on end of the year.
Let's see here. I would guess
technically four-string, if you want to be honest, because Teddy Bridgewater on one knee would have been better.
The best year Dilfer had passing yard. I know it's different, a little bit different league. It was in '96, 2,800 yards for Tampa when he was 24 years old, 12 touchdowns, 19 picks.
That's his best statistical year.
That was his best passing yards. Best statistical year probably is '97, threw for 2,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 picks.
What did he do the Super Bowl year?
15. He only started 8 games, 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns, 11 picks.
So he probably averaged about the same amount of yards. That's not even 200 yards per game. Oh my god,
136 yards per game. Super Bowl year.
That's factoring in all the games he didn't play, obviously, because 8 divided by 1,500 is not 136.
He played in 11 games, started 8.
Oh, okay.
Like he had to come in because their other quarterback was hurt.
Okay, so he's a little better than Trent Dilfer, but he's closer to Trent Dilfer than anybody else, besides maybe Joe Flacco. He's like in between Trent Dilfer and Joe Flacco, but a little closer to Flacco. My point being,
I'm just saying if they get to the Super Bowl, the game is in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's an advantage.
Okay, so they would have to, in your scenario, they would either have to, I don't remember your scenario.
They're right under the 2 seeds behind
The 6 quarterbacks
Philly.
that you have in the NFC are Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson,
Drew Brees, and Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
2 of those guys are unproven in the playoffs along with Case Keenum. So that's 3 of them. And I think Minnesota's roster is
I'm looking at my
better than the other
hand
guys.
thinking these 5 quarterbacks. Case Keenum's not beating 2 of those people.
Here's my thing. I think he's, if you look at the other quarterbacks, 3 of them are unproven in the playoffs. Wentz, Goff, and Keenum.
Okay, I will take Wentz any day over Keenum or Goff.
I just think Philly loses one of their games before they get to Minnesota. I think if Philly-Minnesota play, Philly's win the game.
Okay.
I just think I'm looking at matchups.
Minnesota plays who? They play Seattle, don't they?
It'd either be New Orleans or Seattle or the Rams.
I will take any of those teams against the Vikings.
I don't think so.
Maybe not the Rams.
I don't think the Rams or the New Orleans over them in
I would
Minnesota.
take New Orleans. Give me Drew Brees over Case Keenum any day of the week.
I've seen that game happen.
Yeah, not in the playoffs, Devin. It's not the same.
You are delusional. Says the guy thinking he's Keenum in the Super Bowl.
The playoffs are a different breed in the NFL than the regular season. You cannot argue this.
It is different. It is different. I'm just saying it's not.
Quarterback play is much more important.
And also, I'm also saying that Keenum can get bailed out by 2 really, really good receivers, make him look a lot better than what he actually is.
I just can't.
Diggs and Thielen.
I can't logically process you taking Case Keenum to win the Super Bowl.
Told you, it's not like I'm not taking them versus like the field. I'm just taking they have a good chance. They get to the Super Bowl. It's a home game.
I give them approximately the chances of them win the Super Bowl are the same as 0.
That's ridiculous because 0 should be AFC teams that are not named Pittsburgh and New England. Even that is still, I think with Pittsburgh, like 20, maybe. On the off chance they play well versus New England.
I'd still give it a 40-60 chance for the AFC to win the Super Bowl. Like 40 AFC, 60 NFC. That's just saying that somehow New England, something happens to Tom Brady. If you completely factor out injury at all, I give New England a 60% chance of winning the Super Bowl. Because they literally will run through the AFC.
So you're taking them versus the field?
But injury's still a factor, so no. Because people can get hurt.
You can say take New England versus the field bearing Tom Brady.
Well,
injury.
No, because they're like one linebacker goes down. Either one of their quarters goes down. Barring an injury, I would take New England over the field, yes.
All right. Interesting.
I don't feel like that's a hot take.
Interesting.
You can't say interesting like I said something that's off the wall. I didn't say Case Keenum's going to win the Super Bowl. You said that.
I said Minnesota's going to win the Super Bowl.
Case Keenum's their quarterback. Unless you're telling me that Teddy Two Gloves has come back.
Which I don't know if he's better.
Stupid because you can't take Case Keenum out.
Keenum's also playing extremely well.
Yes.
So,
but at some point, and I hope that it happens before that and they take him out. But at some point, Case Keenum's going to turn into Case Keenum. And if Case Keenum doesn't turn into Case Keenum before the playoffs, and they got to play Seattle or they got to play New Orleans, whose defense is playing really well right now, they'd pick off Matt Ryan 3 times in Atlanta, where Matt Ryan usually plays really, really good.
I'm just going with a gut feeling here.
Well, your gut needs to fix itself. It's broken. Fix your gut.
Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else in the news that's interesting to you? I know Okafor was traded to Brooklyn.
I don't care about Jahlil Okafor or the Brooklyn Nets, so no.
They're trusting the process. Philly is.
I mean, what did Philly get?
Let's see here.
That I don't know.
They traded Okafor and Staukis for Trevor Booker.
Why? Why taking it? I think Philly has done a really good job. That trade does not make any sense to me.
Yeah, not great.
Unless Booker has
flourish.
No, unless his deal runs out this year.
I will look. Booker is in his 7th year.
That's my guess, is that his cap runs out this year and they can go for more free agents because Stauskas and Okafor both had 2 left, I think.
He's on an expiring $9 million contract. There it is.
Yeah.
So it proves to be a poor fit. They can cut bait and have salary cap room. So there's that.
Well, I don't know how much he'll really get on the floor.
Yeah, because he's still got a battle with Saric, Amir Johnson, and Holmes for playing time. Yeah. So,
and especially since all those guys are younger than him.
Yes, he's in his 7th year at Clemson. So he's averaging 10 and 6 this year, though. So there's that. He's not been bad.
It's not bad, but he's also played for Brooklyn, so.
Yeah, he now gets to play with Simmons and Embiid. Which, that was actually a fun game last night between the Lakers and 76ers. I actually watched some of that. I watched the very end of the game, too.
Yeah, anytime that I read a highlight, anytime the next day I have to read a story about LaVar Ball, it's a terrible day, so I don't like the game last night.
Lonzo did play well, though.
Well, no, LaVar Ball hugged Joel Embiid, and I had to read an ESPN notification about it.
I didn't get that notification, so I'm okay with it.
2 things I can't say on the radio.
I mean, Lonzo last night, 10 points on 5-11 shooting. Not awful. Had 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, 4 blocks, no turnovers.
Yes.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Your starting point guard gives you that every game, you're going to be happy.
Yes.
Unless you're,
That's one thing I don't
Boston.
like. I get people don't like LaVar. He's kind of a tool.
That is by far the nicest way LaVar Ball has ever been described by any person ever.
But I do like Lonzo. I like the way Lonzo plays because it's not – I think he's easy to play with.
I used to say that I thought LaVar was a good dad, but he's made some of the worst parenting decisions I've ever seen.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks have not been great on his coaching on his dad's skills.
That Trump thing where he told Trump to stay in your lane?
Not great.
I'm like, Trump literally could buy out your company in 4 seconds.
Yes.
Trump can make you irrelevant in 4 seconds.
Also, I get that Trump didn't do anything to get the kids out of jail, but he just sped up the process. It's going to be from 20 days to 8. And the other kids actually be able to stay at UCLA instead of having to drop school because they couldn't pass the classes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Leangelo was pulled out anyways, so another parenting situation there. And LaMelo being pulled out of high school.
Also, he's the president of the United States. I know you.
He has no lane.
I know you think you're big stuff, LaVar.
The lane is
the last person in the world that you want to make mad is the president of the United States.
Yeah.
No. It's the most powerful.
I'm agreeing with you.
It's the most powerful position in the world. No, I didn't say you were agreeing with me, disagreeing. I'm just no, that doesn't make any sense. How stupid can you be?
I mean, pretty dumb. So there's that.
I mean, it's all fair for you to talk crap on the president. If you don't like him, that's fine. That's your political right to do so. But to tweet at him when he just got your son, expedited the process of getting him out of jail.
Chinese jail.
Not even American jail.
China.
I'm imagining it's kind of worse situation than an American jail.
I get they were under hotel arrest in a really nice hotel, but still the possibility of extended jail time in China is just terrifying.
Yes. But anyways, it's a completely separate point. I'm done giving LaVar Ball any airtime. I think that should be the end-all be-all. It's just no one put a camera on him, and he can't say anything stupid. He can tweet all he wants, but if we don't talk about the tweet, it doesn't matter. Just no media outlet for LaVar Ball.
Well, the Lakers already said a thing LaVar after games is not available to the media. That's just
They got a video of him hugging Joel Embiid last night, so obviously it's not that unavailable.
Well, they can't do Stephen A. Smith on the court after the games. They're not allowing that anymore because it got ridiculous.
Then they'll go to the tunnel, or Stephen A. will go in the stands.
But you know what? I am watching Ball in the Family on Facebook because it's highly entertaining. I'm not going to lie. It's highly entertaining.
This is what's wrong with America. Honestly.
It's highly entertaining. You should watch it.
It's like, no, because we're just rewarding people for being stupid.
Have you seen Lonzo's Girlfriend?
No, this could be a game changer, but no.
Yes.
Still not going to watch it, though. Like, it's like...
Have you seen Jello's Girlfriend?
No.
You should watch the show.
I imagine they're really good basketball. Okay, well, Joe's a really good, like, high school basketball player.
Yeah.
They're really good basketball players.
In L.A.
And they're rich. LaMelo drives the Lamborghini. I imagine their girlfriends are pretty good looking.
I'm just saying you should watch the show. It's entertaining.
But
if you can,
I'm not rewarding them. I'm not rewarding them. It's like the Kardashians. Like,
no, but except they actually have some talent. Like there's actually a talent there.
Lonzo's talented.
Melo's talented too.
Maybe. We don't know that. I haven't watched him play a single game, not against high school kids where he cherry-picked 92 points.
I don't even count that game. Like I've seen him play versus like teams that are like his team is overmatched, but he can still play on the court. Like he's still good enough to play.
Okay, fine. I'll give you maybe LaMelo.
Melo's
LaVar
gonna be a good
Ball
shooter.
has no talent.
Also, one thing I worry about with Melo is he's too much like his father, like personality-wise, which is terrifying.
LaVar Ball has no talent at anything. The only thing that dude has done with his entire life is
run his mouth.
athletic children.
And run his mouth. Which he's really good at that.
Oh, he actually might be the most talented mouth runner of all time.
Yeah, so new episode comes out on Sunday, by the way, season 2.
So if you're gonna put that part
episode
into
3.
it, there are some people on the Kardashians that actually had talent to begin with. Like the reasons they're famous is because their dad / mom, Bruce used to be Bruce when he was doing he used to be a really really good lawyer, and he was a tracks.
Jenner. He wasn't a lawyer though. It was the other. It was
Oh no, that's the other one.
Yeah, but Jenner. Yeah, but Bruce. Yeah,
he was a good track star.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
girl. Yeah. Anyways, don't want to get in trouble here.
Yeah, that's just I just don't know. Yeah,
but like the girls have no talents. Like none.
I mean, Kim did get famous for something. I don't know if we should talk about that on here, but
I don't. I'm not gonna count that as a maybe. Anyways, Jello's gonna be a tough time getting the job overseas, especially with China out of the picture. Melo maybe.
I think China might still give him a chance.
We'll see. Just no more shoplifting.
He's already leading the Chinese basketball league in steals.
It's impressive. I mean, he's gonna do it in the NCAA. Didn't even play a game yet. So, wow. So yeah, that was fun last night to watch the Lakers play versus the Sixers. Both teams are still building a little bit and trying to. Both young teams. 76ers are better off right now.
I can tell you my pet peeve of NBA basketball. It's basically of Colin Cowherd.
What?
Are you ready for it?
What?
It's that we will call Houston the best team in the NBA before they play in the playoffs because Colin said that they're better in the West right now. But even though Boston has a better record than the Cavs, he's like, when he talks about the Boston, he's like, well, we have to see what they do in the playoffs before I'll tell them that they're better than Cleveland. I'm like, these two things do not add up here. If you're going to say that Houston has to prove themselves in the playoffs before they're better than Golden State, then no. If Boston has to prove themselves in the playoffs, then so should Houston. Houston's not better than Golden State. Boston's probably not better than Cleveland in a 7-game series. That's yet to be determined because I think that both of those teams could actually beat the other teams. Like the playoffs will actually be interesting this year.
Cleveland in 6, Golden State in 6.
I don't think either. I think both of those will go 7.
Cleveland in 6, Golden State in 7.
Oh, okay.
LeBron James.
I think that Gordon Hayward could be back. I know that they haven't said anything about it, but like,
is his foot even attached to his body?
Devin, that's like 5 months away. If the bone's just straight broken, that's a really long recovery for a broken bone.
No, like is his foot severed from his body? Because that was ugly.
I understand that, but I don't know how much ligament damage there was. Like that changes it. But if it's just a broken ankle, that's not that long of a recovery. That doesn't take 5 months to recover from.
1 second here. Gordon Hayward. I'm looking to see if they have any news on him. So I can't really tell what. There's a lot of mumbo jumbo here. Next phase in the recovery is a walking boot in a couple weeks. Still not expected to return this upcoming season. So there's that.
I don't think that they would ever say that, like, because they're not going to try to rush him back. Like, if it's going to be, like, close, they're not going to play him. But I think that there's probably ligament damage if they're not even thinking about him coming back this year.
Everything I'm seeing is season-ending injury.
Yeah.
So.
But
his recovery time will be good. Next year might be the year for Boston. So we'll see.
I still think that even with Boston's current roster, they'll give Cleveland 7. I just do.
Okay. You're also a LeBron hater, so it's fine.
Don't act like I haven't been realistic about LeBron exceeding the playoffs. I picked them to win against Boston in 5 games last year because I didn't trust Isaiah Thomas. Cleveland does not have the scoring power outside of LeBron James right now in a 7-game series.
LeBron is not losing to Kyrie Irving in a playoff series.
You know who LeBron relied on last year when they needed points? Like, if LeBron wasn't shooting well and they needed points and they needed one-on-one scoring. Yes, they don't have that. I don't think Isaiah Thomas is going to get to that.
LeBron's not losing to Kyrie in a playoff series. Like, get that out of your mind.
It's not like that's not a thing.
Yes, it is.
Like, LeBron can't just I know that LeBron's great, but he can't just say I'm not going to lose and then not lose. Like, that's not how this works.
Yes, it is.
No, you still have to have LeBron.
This is not losing to Kyrie in a playoff series. It's not happening.
This is going to frustrate the crap out of me. LeBron has had some of the best supporting casts. Like, you can give me the Michael Scotty and whoever. But LeBron's supporting cast for this era, have been just as good as Michael Jordan's.
And never healthy.
Last year they were healthy. Kevin Love and Kyrie were both healthy last year.
Okay, it's the first time. And they won when they were healthy. They won the final versus Golden State. And they won the finals versus Golden State. Came back from the lead.
They've been healthy
but before that, the year before, they were both hurt. When he was in Miami, Wade and Bosh were both hurt a lot.
Oh my gosh!
And before he was in Miami, he had no help. So. Like Carlos Boozer was the best.
No. The years in Cleveland, that's for sure. Yeah, no argument there. That's some of the worst. That's the worst roster I've ever seen in NBA Finals in my life.
Next to the one where Dellavedova was his next best player, because that was bad. That's not even like the Cleveland. That wasn't even like Cleveland's fault because people were hurt. The top 2 players were hurt, other than LeBron. So whenever you're Mozgov and Dellavedova, your next 2 best.
That's just because Kelly Olynyk decided to take Kevin Love's shoulder out.
Because Olynyk. Yeah.
But my point is that LeBron doesn't have a second scorer. Unless Isaiah Thomas comes back to be Isaiah Thomas, which he's 5'7", coming off a hip injury, so, very debatable.
Yeah. Kevin Love.
But Kevin Love can't create his own shots.
He can versus everybody but Golden State, which is a problem.
No, Boston plays really good team defense. He's not going to be able to create his own shots there either.
We'll see.
So what you're basically asking is LeBron has to score 40 a game and have probably 10.
He doesn't have to score 40.
He'll have to against Boston. Who else is going to score? Okay, if Isaiah Thomas comes back to be a star, then Cleveland in 6. But I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I'm sorry. I love Isaiah Thomas. I just don't think you can be 5'7", come off a hip injury, and be a star this year. I just don't think that's a thing. I think he's going to take more time to recover.
You're also trusting 2 young guys in the playoff series, and Tatum and Brown.
Okay, well, you're trusting 2 guys that could basically pass out and croak at any point, Dwayne Wade and Derrick Rose. So,
well, they've been winning right now without Derrick Rose. So
they're not gonna. Okay, so you told me in the playoffs that they're gonna win with the roster.
And also, they're gonna make Marcus Smart shoot as much and as many times as possible.
Marcus Smart won't shoot because
you're telling me Marcus Smart will not shoot
in the playoffs.
Yes, he will.
Brad Stevens is a really good coach, and if Marcus Smart keeps taking shots, he'll take him out. He will.
He's going to sit on the bench. They're going to need his defense, though, which is why he'd be on the court, and he's going to take stupid shots because it's Marcus Smart, and he's not smart.
He'll make them.
That's the boldest take we've had today.
That's not bolder.
Yes.
For one, I'm being sarcastic, and for 2, it's still not bolder in case Keenum wins the Super Bowl.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is. Teams will literally leave Marcus Smart wide open. Like, they're giving him the Rondo treatment right now.
That's fine. He shot decent in the playoffs last year, actually.
He's shooting worse than Lonzo shoots.
Well, I don't. Okay, first of all, don't bring Lonzo into any argument because I think that dude deserves like a couple of years to get adjusted.
Well, I do too. That's what I'm saying. Lonzo in his rookie year, where he's not shooting well at all, is shooting better than Marcus Smart. Like
Marcus Smart's
6.
not a scorer.
He thinks he is,
like
though.
You're telling me Andre Roberson can't shoot.
He thinks he is,
though. It's not a revelation.
Smart thinks he's a shooter, though. That's the problem.
He can't think that. I'm just gonna let.
No, seriously. Follow Ryan Russillo. He will make fun of. He's a Boston guy. He'll make fun of Marcus Smart. Like the guy still thinks he's a shooter. He's not. He'll do it every time.
I just can't believe that.
He does it every time. He's like, I got this.
Surely he's got more self-awareness than that. No. I can't believe it.
He doesn't.
My point stands is that it makes me mad that sports people are ready to crown Houston better than Golden State.
And everybody's forgetting about San Antonio. Without Kawhi
fair.
right now.
That's fair.
Without Kawhi, they're 3 games back at Houston and 2.5 behind at Golden State. Without Kawhi. That's insane.
That's not real. Greg Popovich is not human.
He's like, I have the Dallas roster. I'm going to the finals. It's like, what? How? Like, what's happening right now, Pop? Oh, a possible Saturday for Kawhi's return? Ooh. Saturday's game versus the Suns. Possible Kawhi Leonard season debut.
That's who I debut him against, too.
Yeah.
They
They
might
play
be
a
the
whole
least
lot of
physical
defense.
team in the NBA.
They play a whole lot of defense there. I mean, this is the starting 5 for San Antonio. Murray, Green, Anderson, Aldridge, and Gasol.
Who?
You know all those guys are just old. Besides Murray.
And,
Anderson?
no.
No. Green?
No, they're all old. You're right. Who's the guy that played
Backups are Patty Mills, Ginobili, I don't even know, Rudy Gay. I don't even know how to say that guy's name, but I've never heard of him before.
Is it the big center?
Yeah.
No, that's Laverne. That's not who
Laverne.
I was talking about.
Well, it's the only guy they have. That's the only backup center they have, him and Powell, with Aldridge and Gay.
Yeah, I don't understand how that team's winning games.
This guy's on the roster, Davis Bertans, and somehow he's playing. So there's that. Wow, how does he win with these guys? I don't understand. I don't get this. I don't understand Spurs basketball. They're so good. Like somehow Aldridge is back to all-star levels, averaging 23 and 8. He was like unplayable last year in the play. I don't understand, but it happens. I guess Rudy Gay was their second leading scorer, and they've won 17 out of 25 games. So that's the
Popovich
Spurs.
is unhuman. That's
That's the Spurs for
it's
you.
because of the soul box.
And right now, OKC would miss the playoffs. Game behind Utah.
I don't think that'll end up happening, but I think they're going to end up trading Carmelo or Paul George. They got to trade one of them. Those guys are not working together.
And right now, the Knicks are 1 game behind Philly in the 8th spot for the East playoffs. So there's that.
I think that if I were OKC, I'd trade Carmelo.
Back to the Knicks.
He is a roster killer.
You're not wrong. I like Carmelo. It just he doesn't play well with others.
I don't like him. I don't get how you can like him. Like I mean, like not as a person. Like I don't know him as a person.
I like
I
his
don't get how you
offense.
can
I like
watch
his offensive skill. It's just like at the same time, it's like he plays no defense and he's hard to play with.
Yeah, I don't get how you can like his play.
I don't love it.
First of all, I don't want any freaking 3 that can't shoot a 3.
So I think he
and
can,
his only
but it's not there. I don't understand.
His only go-to is a jab step jumper.
It's gonna work.
Well, yeah, you jab step enough times, you might get open.
He's averaging 18 this year. There's that.
What's his shooting percentage?
That's what I'm looking up. 40%. 33 from 3.
Yeah, that's really good.
34 from 3 if you round up.
That's really good.
Better than Westbrook. 40%,
Yeah,
32%.
You won't hear me bragging on Westbrook shooting anytime soon.
Yeah, Westbrook's not a great shooter. Paul George shooting 41% and 40% from 3. Get him the ball more.
Yeah, well, Russell doesn't understand that.
Yeah,
it's the same reason KD left.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's why I've been. Yeah. I mean, Westbrook's taking 2 more shots per game than Paul George. Almost actually 2.5 more shots per game, and making only about 0.8 more. So there's that. I get Westbrook's super athletic, but
Westbrook should literally attempt dunks and pull-up jumpers
in transition because he's unstoppable there.
Well, yeah. Anytime you're in transition, you should get Russell the ball. That's a different story.
He's insane in transition, but yeah.
But I imagine they'll make the playoffs still.
Yeah.
If you're the 8th seed, though,
you play either Houston or Golden State.
That's not who Houston or Golden State wants to see as the 8th seed.
Not likely. They don't want to see them instead of Utah.
Yeah, I'd much rather see Utah. You're Utah, they don't
or the Pelicans.
They don't
I guess the Pelicans you have Cousins and Davis.
But that's still for either of those teams.
I don't think Golden State wants to see him because Boogie and KD just might fight every night. Because Boogie's like, what do I got to lose? A playoff series?
Fair. KD's like, what do I have to lose? And he better say his head or the rest of his body. Because Boogie would literally destroy KD.
They're literally the same height, but Boogie is so much more massive.
If they actually fought, you put those two in an octagon, Kevin Durant might die.
He's not making it out. It's not happening. What's Boogie's? I know they listen to like 6'11".
270, I would guess.
Yep, 270. And I'm just gonna say this: KD's not that big.
KD's a soaking wet 190. He's probably 220.
They say 240. They also list him.
He's 6'11".
They also list him at 6'9", and that's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. He's a 7-footer.
He's 6'11".
He's taller than Cousins.
He's 6'11".
Like, we've seen them stand next to each other. He is an inch or two taller than Cousins.
Yeah, but you don't know how tall those other guys are. Like, Cousins could actually be like 6'9", 6'10", just listed at 6'11".
Even if he's listed at 6'10", that means KD is not 6'9".
That's fair.
Oh, it's kind of like the same way with Northwest. Pitts is not 5'10".
No,
that's not a real thing.
Pitts is like, I don't want to guess his height because I don't want to undermine the man, but he's not 5'10".
No, that's not happening. He's also the leading scorer in NCAA for a career right now, active. Good job, Missouri, with that graphic. It was really good. So, show's over. Last one of the year. We'll be back in 2018. Hopefully be better. By be better, I mean me.
Our New Year's resolution will be to be better at this radio show.
It's been pretty good, though. I think it's been pretty good.
I mean, it's at least...
He's had some good discussions.
It's at least mildly entertaining.
Yeah. I feel like people are entertained when they tune in. Going to class.
If
they tune in. I know some people tell me, yeah, I'd tune in for about 5 minutes going to class. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're the real MVP. Also, the show will be on YouTube. I'll upload it today, so you can, if you want to view it. I think our season high is like 5 views on YouTube, but hey.
Hey, just put that we talked about LaVar Ball and the Kardashians.
And tag them in it.
And tag them, and we might get a lot more views.
Start tagging all the balls on Twitter. Like, hey, we talked about you. Just tag all of them. No,
don't tag LaVar. We can credit anybody else. LaVar gets no tag.
I just want to tag him.
I get
what you're saying though. LaVar gets talked about way too much.
I dislike it so much that I bought a shirt that says medium baller rated.
That was good. I like that shirt, by the way. It's a nice shirt.
I
still believe in Lonzo. Not so much in LaVar or Jello, because Jello's not an NBA prospect. The fact he's like, so I'm just preparing for the NBA draft. It's like he's not even on anybody's scouting list. Like, no one's scouting him.
Not even like their advanced
extended list. Like as many guys they can put on there. Like, yeah, we still don't have Jello Ball. Like, he's not on here. It's like, oh. Still getting ready for the draft.
The guy in Lithuania was like, you will not play it.
Oh.
I'm like, Lithuania's not even taking you? That's bad.
Like, I saw they tweet out a picture from like Big Baller Brand account. It was like the future. It was like Jello and Melo both in high school. It's like, no, that's not the future. That was the past. Like, Jello cannot go back to high school. That's not happening.
It's fair.
LaVar. And you pulled him out of that high school.
LaVar's not one of the smartest people.
Or is he?
I
can't tell.
He actually does have to be pretty smart because, like, he understands business, and I get that. But, like, I honestly think that he just says all of it on purpose.
To get a rise out of people, and it works.
Yeah.
People fall for it.
Not even to get a rise out of people, just to, like, if
no publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah,
it's literally that.
He's literally taking the Donald Trump political campaign.
Kim Kardashian thing, just like, hey.
The more you're in the news, even if it's bad, people still pay attention to you.
It happens.
That's why you can sell a crappy, ugly shoe for $500.
See, I wanted Alonzo's shoe, but once I heard it was like $500, I'm like, yeah.
The shoe's ugly. It's not good material.
Me personally, I don't have $500 to spend on a car, let alone shoes.
Well, that's true. But I'm just saying, like, I would not spend $75 on that shoe.
$75 I would.
No.
I would.
It's not worth it. Like, that shoe would fall apart in 5 seconds if you played basketball. Like, if you're just going to wear them around, I'm sure they're fine. But, like, the design does not look good. And the design's ugly. Like, it's not. The newer ones are a lot better. I like the newer ones. The Zeo, whatever they are.
The Zeo 2s? Or that was the first ones?
That was the first one, yeah. They made a new one. It's not as bad. I think they redesigned the Zeo 2s. It's still the Zeo 2s.
Yes, the newer ones.
Yeah.
The newer Zeo 2s. Okay. So, like, if they were cheaper, I'd probably buy one. But it's like, I'm a college student and with no money. So, only got a semester left, though. So, there's the positive sides. We'll be back next semester. Also tune in this afternoon for Weekend Sports Kickoff. We're going to send Sean and Max out with a bang for the last show of their careers here next 106.
Oh, hey, congrats, guys.
Yeah, you made it out.
Grads.
You made it out.
Now you can go get real jobs. So exciting.
Have fun in the real world, right?
Yeah,
so that's our show. We're done. We'll see you in 2018 here on Friday Take.